guys, welcome to the second devlog. I'm Luke and this is my Metroidvania project in Unity. In the last video I showed you my beginnings with the development and especially the movement of the player and other basic stuff important for Metroidvania, like transitions between screens or a simple combat system. The game looked something like this. No decorations, no effects, just placeholders. Grass tileset from another project of mine that didn't fit my idea of how the game should look at all. So the first task was to create a new tileset that would suit the game better. I did my research. Most tilesets aren't fully colored or with texture, but fade to black or some other solid color. I think it's for a reason, so the tileset is not so significant and does not draw attention to itself. And your eyes can focus on more important things on the screen. So I gave it a shot and my first attempt went something like this. Yeah, I think it's better, but it's still not quite right. It's darker and it changes the atmosphere completely, just how I'd like it. And it fits more with the story I came up with, but more about the lore in another devlog. So let's back and start again. I started working on a new tileset in a sprite. I didn't want to make a grass tileset anymore and rather tried something else, something more interesting, and I was thinking about a cave tileset or dungeon, something like that. And I feel it in my bones, this is it. After a while I was done and I surprised myself. I'm no pixel artist. Pixel art artist? Anyway, look at that. I think it's amazing, I love it. Best tileset I've ever done. I am happy with the result, but let me know what you think about it in the comments. The game still felt kind of empty, so I drew some decorations for the level. Blue mushrooms and the rocks for the start, and I also added some tiles for a bit of texture, because otherwise I found the black area boring and there was quite a lot of black. I plan to add more and more variations, like gems or stones, but so far so good. The next day I started working on improving the gameplay. The character can already attack, jump and more, but so far he has not been able to interact with objects or NPCs in any other way. In Metroidvania, I also consider dialogues to be important, so making a functional system for using items was a clear choice to work on. It was quite simple. Each object or character has its box collider, and when the player is close, in other words enters the collider, he can start interacting with given object by pressing a button. And it works both on NPCs and any other objects in the game. So, as you can see, it works. It started a dialogue. Okay, this isn't a dialogue, but before I start working on the proper dialogue system, I think language system should be done before, loading different languages from files and so on, because I want to have the game not only in English, but also in my native language Czech, and maybe other languages as well. I want to have a simple system where there will be XML files with individual languages, and I hope someone will translate them for me, and then the game will simply load them. So the dialogue system must be ready for that, and because I don't like to redo anything at all, so I'll move on to another task, and this is vertical screens transitions. I said last time that it would be more complicated than the horizontal transitions, and I really thought so, but in the end I actually just added these two lines of code and it works just fine. I would like to be able to see how the character arrives or jumps to the right position after moving to another room. Not just being transported as it is now, but that's the problem for future Beardy Luke. For now, we're good. Another day, I just quickly coded a few lines to allow the player to collect unspecified collectibles. Since I still have no idea what exactly he should collect, I made ordinary coins for now. There is probably nothing more I can add to that. You just pick it and it shows the number at the top left of the screen. Simple as that. Until now, if the player is hit, or in our case touches the enemy, nothing special happens. The player has no idea that he has lost a life, and that has to change. He needs some kind of feedback, not only sound effect but also something visual, something more visible to him. My idea is to slow down time and give the player a knockback, and also some particles I draw, and voila! Of course, this is not the final product. It will definitely change, but we have the basics for it and I'm fine with that. After being hit, the player starts flashing and he is immortal for about 2 seconds. At the top left, hearts are subtracted after each hit. Each heart has 2 halves. So I would consider it perfectly functional. At first I didn't really want to do it, but eventually I came back to dialogue and language systems. As you can see, in the dialog box the name is displayed, and gradually also the text of what the person is saying. The NPC is called a stranger when we first meet him. In the next sentence he introduced himself to us, so his name has changed. And I can do that at any time during the dialogue. As I said earlier, the first thing to do was to load the text from the file. And this is what the file looks like. It stores all the text that needs to be added to the menus or dialogues, names, later the names of items, etc. Every line has its own ID, and in Unity I just write this ID and then it shows the correct sentence. If I change it here, the name or maybe a sentence, start the game again, and the changes will be shown immediately. So it works perfectly, and I can now just add text to the file and the game can be in any language. And that's it for today's devlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more videos. Thanks for your support and see you next time. Bye!